Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're discussing why Chapter Master Tushan is an absolute legend. Spoiler warning to begin, as the events we're discussing today are from the Warhammer 40k novel Nocturne by author Nick Kyme. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first, without spoilers, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. So today, we come to the end of our Salamanders week, and there really is no other way I could end it than by shining some much deserved spotlight on their Chapter Master Tushan. Within him, they have a Chapter Master who embodies the noble virtues of Vulcan, who understands how important it is to realise why the Astartes fight. If Vulcan ever does return to his chapter, I have no doubt he'll be proud of the son who leads in his stead. Yet for the honour, the compassion for humanity Tushan embodies, we cannot forget he is a warrior first and foremost. He is one of the Emperor's avenging angels, and he was created solely for war. Tushan hasn't ascended to the vaunted rank of Chapter Master because he possesses the innate virtues of kindness, of compassion. He has made it there because he is an unmatched general. He is a soldier who has conquered countless battlefields and bested every enemy champion. He is a hero amid the darkness, and an absolute beast in battle. While maybe not as famous as some of his more prominent contemporaries, such as Marneus Calgar or Logan Grimnar for example, thankfully there is still a few examples out there of Tushan's awesomeness, and you'd be hard pressed not to find his efforts during the invasion of Nocturne the most inspiring. Now, during the events of the novel Nocturne, the Salamanders' homeworld would come under surprise invasion from an allied force of Chaos Renegades, Demons, and Drukhari, and the Salamanders were caught completely by surprise by the infiltration of the enemy. And Tushan didn't skip a beat, ordering the chapter and counterattack immediately, before leading the ground counter-offensive himself, atop his Land Raider. And it was in the heat of this fighting that an immense demon would appear, taking on the mocking form of a dragon from the ancient Nocturnian myths. And this isn't a greater demon we're talking about here. This is a literal dragon, absolutely immense. The shells of the salamander tanks would harmlessly bounce off its side, and its fire would vaporize the assaulting vehicles immediately. Tushan knew he faced the entire annihilation of his army, and so ordered his armored division to retreat, to fall back. And to ensure they could, to ensure the men of his chapter had a fighting chance, Tushan ordered his Land Raider onward to charge the beast as the rest of his chapter retreated. It was a short contest. Despite the burning fire they poured into the beast, it was not enough, and Tushan was sent flying as his personal Land Raider Promethean was torn to shreds. So with his chapter retreating, his own tank of flame and wreckage, standing before a demon dragon that dwarfs even a greater demon, did Tushan fall back? Did Tushan run? Did he call for aid, ordering his forces to cease their retreat? No. He instead drew his Thunderhammer, Stormbearer, and took on the beast. How can you not love this guy, prepared to risk it all to save his chapter? And so he does, and we got to witness a glimpse of the sheer resolve inside the chapter master. Rising up on its hind quarters, the beast extended a long, sinuous neck to its full height and released a storm of hellfire. Tushan roared and brandished his hammer like a shield as the flames washed against it. Reaching around his back, he gripped the edge of his drakescale cloak and threw it around in front of him. No fire existed that could penetrate salamander hide, and Tushan's had come from one of the oldest and most venerable beasts. It provided a better barrier than Stormbearer, but after a few seconds, the heat was intense. "How much fire is in you, Hellkite?" he spat, hunkered down against the barrage. Instinct made him move, and the slightest suggestion of the blaze abating. The demon slashed with a massive talon, carving furrows into the earth in Tushan's wake. Lava plumed from the gash in Nocturne's flesh, scalding the creature and drawing an avian shriek from its foul, distended maw. Tushan smiled grimly. His land, his heartblood, it had risen to the defense of its regent. While the demon still recoiled from its wounding, he struck it hard across the foreleg and was rewarded with an audible crack of bone. Ah, what an absolutely awesome image that is. The Salamanders Chapter Master weathering the fire that had turned tanks into molten slag, as the fires of Nocturne rise to face the corrupt fires of the demon. Truly, they are the Fireborn. It's such an evocative moment. Tushan, in face of a dragon, surrounded by the fires of his homeworld. Just absolutely makes you fall in love with the chapter. There's just no backward step. They would go through whatever they have to do to save their people. And for Tushan, that responsibility extends to his chapter. He will do whatever he has to do to ensure his chapter survives. Honestly, it's no wonder Dante has such respect for this guy. How could you not? Facing down a literal dragon, the stuff of legends in more ways than one. And I think a bit of props and acknowledgement needs to go to those Drakescale cloaks too. Here, denying the flames and keeping Tushan alive from a fire that had just turned tanks into molten slag. That is impressive. And for all Tushan's ability to weather the storm, to stand in the face of the demon and come back swinging, it simply wasn't enough. The foe was too great, and it was only through the arrival of Chief Librarian Velkona that Tushan arguably didn't lose his life. Yet the foe was even beyond Velkona's psychic mastery, and so maybe Tushan's greatest act of sheer resolve was still yet to come, as he ordered an orbital strike on the beast, on his location. Tushan ordered an orbital bombardment on the very area he was, on the very foe he faced. With only the scrap wreckage of his once proud Land Raider for cover, Tushan embraced the storm of an orbital strike. I mean, come on, that takes guts. You want to talk about the resolve of the Salamanders? Well, you need to talk about Tushan. This guy not only faced down a dragon, but he intentionally faced the wrath of an orbital strike. That is the reason Vulcan Heastan classes Tushan as a hero. That is why he feels sorrow. There are no others like him. Because Chapter Master Tushan is an absolute tank. The sheer impact of the blast radius could have killed him. The targeting slightly off even by a few meters could have obliterated him. And yet he trusted his ability as a son of Vulcan to face the storm. And he trusted his captain, his chapter, to strike true. Oh, I really need to start practicing painting salamanders. I think I love Tushan and the current day chapter even more than I love the Legion. And that's saying something. What an absolute legend. And that's arguably not even his most awesome moment. Being sent flying by the blast, Tushan's leg gets crushed under the Land Raider, and he still fights multiple attacking traitor Astartes, whilst while lying there on his back, dropping an Arnie-esque line of, "I could do it with one leg crushed beneath a tank." Or maybe how on Armageddon, he locked himself in a room with another chapter's captain to have a little private chat after they'd ordered a bombardment on a refugee camp, desperately fighting off the orcs. Or even maybe how more simply, he had seen firsthand the truth of the Blood Angel's flaw, in Dante no less, and still offered the bond of friendship, harbouring their chapter's secret. Whether a man of honour, whether a warrior upon the battlefield, there are few characters across the Imperium who can truly compare to Tushan's legacy. And as long as he is the man leading the Salamanders chapter, somewhere out there, in an unheralded part of the galaxy, Vulcan would be smiling. But as always everyone, what do you think? What do you think is Tushan's greatest legacy? Is he the perfect example of what a salamander should strive to be? Would you love to see Tushan get some more appearances within the lore? Would you like to see him in more major events? Is this stand of Tushan before the demon, with his chapter retreating, the perfect example of the sacrifice the man would make for his chapter, for his people? And where do you think he ranks alongside the other renowned chapter masters out there? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.